Welcome to the Mastering the Game podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine Harris. The Summer Showcase of 2023 happened last week. They showed lots of different games, including a new Prince of Persia game that I believe is set to release in January of next year. And they also showed some things like Mortal Kombat 1 and a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 update, which is to be expected since they keep churning that stuff out every year. Some of the games that I haven't mentioned so far that I liked was Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. It kind of reminded me of Shadow of Mordor because of the overall tone of the game, like just the color scheme. And I also saw that there were options to you can spare somebody or take them out if you wanted to. One of the games that was featured more heavily was Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not that big of a fighting game guy because I'm not great at it. I grew up playing a lot of Tekken. Tekken 2 was one of the first games that I had on PlayStation. And I think I had the first one as well. I just don't really remember playing that one too much. I like that fighting games are alive and strong. I know that the Mortal Kombat brand has been around since the 80s or the 90s or something like that, back in the arcade era. So I'm sure that if of all franchises, the Mortal Kombat franchise is always going to be around. What's cool about that franchise is that they still do try to innovate. They unveiled the Cameo system, which is kind of like a side character that you can have come in the game and fight with you. It seemed pretty cool the way that it can integrate and really impact the game, because if you have another person coming in and doing a little special move to help you out with your combo, I think it'll be a revolutionary way to keep the brutality of the Mortal Kombat game, but also just show you different combos that you can do. So I think that it's nice for fighting games in particular to keep innovating, because it's really easy for those games to really just keep churning out the exact same game over and over and over again, just with updated graphics and maybe add a couple of characters. I mean, ultimately, games like that are going to boil down to updated graphics and new characters. So at some point, you really have to figure out how to get people to keep buying the game and stay invested in the franchise. It's kind of a tricky line to walk, because you don't want to just keep churning out DLC for the same game, and keep it open for 30 years. But you also want to just actually have a new entry, because you need to have a reason for somebody to come back to the game. So I think that Cameo system is going to be really good for the Mortal Kombat brand. So we'll have to see. One thing that I like about gaming showcases like this are when they actually show the gameplay. I'm not a huge fan of big cinematic videos and trailers and stuff, because to me, it's kind of pointless. Well, not really pointless, I guess, but I personally would rather just see how the game actually looks and how it plays, rather than some cinematic cutscene that's not really meaningful to the game at all, because I'm not going to be playing a cinematic video game. I'm going to be playing the actual gameplay. You know what I mean? So I know that they showed some gameplay for Mortal Kombat, and I believe they showed that also for Banisher's Ghosts of Eden, if I'm not mistaken, but it may not have been very much gameplay. But I like to be able to see what the actual game plays as before deciding whether I want to actually get it. Overall, I mean, the showcase was great. I probably will keep watching it every year. I do like seeing new games. And again, like I said, I'm more of a gameplay guy rather than a cinematic trailer person. However, it's nice to see a mix of both. Let me know in the comments if you also watched the Summer Showcase this year. I'd love to know what games you enjoyed. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider leaving a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast service. And also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unleash Pro Plays, where you can watch our latest gaming videos.